Thank you all for coming to my speech today about the life of Martin Luther King Jr. Now, he was born on January 15th, 1929 in Atlanta, Georgia. His father was a pastor at the Ebenezer Baptist Church, and his mother used to be a teacher, but then later on became a choir director at that same church. He had two siblings. His sister was named Christine King Ferris, and his brother Alfred Daniel King. Now, his sister is still alive today, and his parents both outlived him. And most of that information comes from the drmartinlutherkingjr.com. Now, growing up, he was a pretty average kid, as told by his mother. He did skip the 9th and 10th grade and enter Morehouse College at 15, though. So he was decently smart. He later graduated that same college through a special wartime program and went on to continue his studies at Crozar Theological Seminary, after which he went to Boston University to complete his doctoral studies and receive a PhD in systematic theology. And at the age of 19, he became a minister at the same church as his parents. And on a mission in Dexter Avenue, Montgomery, Alabama, he began his trek into civil rights movements. Most of that was thanks to Emilio Iodice and her case study on the leadership challenge of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Now, I'm sure everyone knows that the iconic I Have a Dream speech. But according to the National Museum of African American History and Culture, part of that was improvised, and the iconic line, I have a dream, was not even part of the original draft of it. And also, according to that same source, he survived an assassination attempt 10 years before the second assassination attempt killed him. And that assassination, apparently some woman was tracking him for 5 years because they thought he had connections to communists. And so when they found him at a book signing, she took a letter opener and stabbed him, narrowly missing his heart, having to have surgery done right afterwards. He did give a speech saying that he held no aggression towards his assassin. So yes, he did die on a later assassination on April 4th, 1968. But before that, he had done plenty for the civil rights movement. He had founded Southern Christian Leadership Conference as well, and his efforts were critical to the passage of two big acts for them: the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act. And because of that, he was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize of 1964. According to my sources, he was the youngest person at the time to be awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. Now, after his death, his family continued his legacy. His children, Martin Luther King III, Bernice King, and Dexter King, all carried on his legacy through the King Center, which his sister had set up, and through continued advocacy for civil rights and nonviolent social change. They'd also acted on some broader issues such as human rights and more social change. And that also comes from the drmartinlutherkingjr.com. Thank you for listening. That was my speech.